What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop Luke. In this episode, we'll be talking about our trade period, what it means, where we're sitting going forward. Let's get into it. So first, apologies for the delay in getting this video out to you. As you can probably tell and see, I've been crook since the trade period pretty much ended, so I haven't been able to make a video until about now. I'm still pretty sick, but we'll record anyway. The show must go on. So let's talk about our trade period. So it was a pretty big trade period, and we pretty much got every single target we were after, except for Braden Fiorini. That deal just couldn't get done. He still had a contract left at the Gold Coast Sun, so he'll play there. Maybe he comes across to us at the end of next season, but everyone else pretty much got done, and everyone we thought was going to leave pretty much left as well. It was probably one of our biggest trade periods in a very long time. Like I said in a previous video, I know how Treloar and Stevenson leaving was pretty big as well, but this trade period that we had this year, we actually brought players in and brought a lot of players into the club that's going to complement how we play and how Craig and Crow's Pies goes forward in season 2023. So the first guy we brought in was Brodie Hill from the Giants, an explosive and exciting forward. He can probably play a little bit higher up the ground, maybe a half forward-ish. He's a very nice kick, so that could help us going into the forward line, but he is a genuine crummer that, we don't really have, and I mentioned this in a previous off-season video as well. We do have the likes of Ginnivan and McCreary when he's in there as well, but Brodie Hill is a genuine crummer and someone who, the opposition has to be on their game, because this guy is going to just shark the ball when McStay or Jamie Elliott or Brodie Mychek, sort of drop that ball or bring that ball to ground. Brodie Hill is your guy down there. He's small, he's quick, he's agile, and brings something that Jack Ginnivan sort of doesn't. And Ginnivan is a great player in his own right at what he does, winning his own ball and stuff like that. But he's not an out-and-out crummer, well, in my opinion, like Brodie Hill. So he's going to be probably straight into our best 22 and complementing that team. The next guy we brought in was Dan McStay. And I made a video about McStay and that acquisition, and a lot of naysayers and stuff like that. And that's fair enough, because we haven't really seen a lot of him, we haven't seen him do a lot of great things at Brisbane. But I feel, and there's a lot of talk about it, he is such an important part to Brisbane's cog that I don't think they're going to do that good without him next season. What McStay does is he is a big key forward in that forward line. Brodie Mychek has been battered and bruised for the last couple of years since he came into that team in 2018. So now McStay is another big forward that can kind of get the first or second best defender, probably the first best defender in the team. Lets Brodie Mychek do his own thing and gives the other defenders a bit more of a headache, and it helps our transition from midfield to forward line when we have those two big cogs in there, because Cox and Cameron, yes, they were doing well, but they weren't built for that full forward sort of position, only for pinch hitting. Like Cox will pinch hit in there, Darcy Carroll will pinch hit in there as well. The thing that I like about McStay is that he can play in the ruck if we really need him to, and he can go down back, which when he was at Brisbane, Justin Lepish's first year as coach there, McStay was their full back, so he can go down back. So he's a multi-position player, albeit I think he will stay in the forward line a lot, but he'll probably swap with Cameron in that ruck position, maybe play 70, forward line 30% in the ruck. So I love Dan McStay's trade in. He's going to be, again, another important cog in our team going forward, because we're missing... Look, he's not a big key forward like a Cameron or a Hawkins or one of the King brothers, but he's going to be important in our makeshift forward line. The third player we brought in was Billy Frampton from the Adelaide Crows. 201 centimetres, a big, key, tall defender. Something that we've been lacking for a couple of years, especially since Jordan Roughhead went down. So when Jordan Roughhead went down this year, Moore and Howe had to play, and even Maynard at times, had to play on Buddy Franklin, Cameron, Hawkins, all these big key forwards, Curnow and Harry Mackay. These defenders that weren't necessarily full backs, and they were kind of intercept defenders, and they were running off defenders, that sort of new age defender, had to play on these big key forwards, and they were kicking 4, 5, 6. Tom Lynch kicked 6 against Darcy Moore or whatever it may be, and Curnow's kicking 4 or whatever it is. Billy Frampton, yes, he hasn't shown a lot in the AFL. He went from Port Adelaide to Adelaide and now to Collingwood. He's been very good in the SANFL, in the SANFL, in the South Australian Football League. He's been pretty good there. Now, will he get a best 22, round one, Frampton? Maybe if he has a very good preseason, but probably not. He probably still has to play his craft a little bit in the VFL. Justin Lepage will work wonders with him like he's worked wonders with the whole defence. But he probably has a little bit more to go than a Hill or a McStay in breaking into our best 22. But I dare say, if we don't see him round one, we'll probably see him around the mark really soon because, like I said, every team needs a key, agile fullback, and Frampton could be our guy. He's not going to be a player like a Jacob Wiedering or a Ben Mackay or a Sam Taylor. He's not one of these big-named fullbacks, but he could be a stopgap until we sort of develop another fullback. Is that Will Kelly? Is that someone from the draft? Is that another, someone that we trade in next year as a restricted free agent or something like that? But it's kind of like playing Moneyball. You get these players cheap. I think he went for a future third rounder, which is, maybe a little bit overs, but still, because they're probably going to list him anyway. But still, bit of Moneyball. You pay cheaply for these guys, and hopefully they, keep Kerner to 2 goals or something like that. Now, the last guy we brought in at, I think it was like 7:25 p.m. on deadline day, was Tom Mitchell from the Hawthorn Footy Club. Now, Tom Mitchell, absolutely nuts. Like, I cannot believe that we've recruited Tom Mitchell to our football club. Won the Brownlow in 2018. I think in 2019 he broke his leg or snapped his leg or something, and that was insane. He was out for a very long time. Still operating at a very high output. This year though, he hasn't really been playing in the midfield. I think I saw a stat a couple of weeks ago where he wants to play in the midfield more, but Hawthorn are going for this youth-based team first sort of thing. So they're putting their new players in like Newcomb and stuff like that. So Mitchell is on the outer a little bit there. We've given him a 3-year deal. He is 29, so he's on the older end of things. But what I love about this is it's given me shades of Luke Ball in 2009. And I think I mentioned that in a previous video. Luke Ball, we addressed the need that we needed a Luke Ball type. We addressed the need that we needed Luke Ball. 2009, we get him. 2010, he plays an integral part in our premiership season. Now, I'm not saying that because we recruited Tom Mitchell, we're going to win the premiership, but what I liked in 2009 was we addressed the needs. We needed a ruckman in Jolly. We needed a midfielder in Luke Ball. And this time, we needed that clearance midfielder in Tom Mitchell. Yes, he's getting 40, 50 possessions against us previously. And there was a lot of, I said a lot of things about Tom Mitchell. There's a stat pattern and stuff like that, but I love him now. Plays for the black and white. You get rid of all that thoughts, and you automatically love any player that plays in the black and white stripes. But what I love about Tom Mitchell is that not only does it address a need that we need that sort of clearance player, that in and under player that we don't have. Who knows, like Adams had torn his groin off his muscle in that game against Geelong. So who knows if he's going to be back to his best, and we don't have that clearance in and under player. If Tom Mitchell is getting 5, 6, 7 clearances a game, feeding him out to Jordan De Goey, feeding him out to Pendlebury, to Nick Dagos, to Jack Rose, whoever it is in the middle, we need that sort of player, and Tom Mitchell is going to be that sort of player for us. He's definitely one of the first picked in the best 22, and from all his Instagram videos and stuff like that, he is so excited to play at the football club. I've never seen a player more excited to play for us, and it's just amazing that we've been able to recruit him and, promise of, playing him in the middle, and he knows what his role is, and it's going to be amazing to see him in the black and white stripes, in the G, in front of the Magpie Army, in and under, dishing these stuff out to Jordan De Goey, who's going and kicking for goal and stuff like that. So I'm very, very, very excited for Tom Mitchell to play for the Pies. Now, in saying that, we did say goodbye to 2 players. Brodie Grundy, if you saw from my previous video, had left. We got a pick 27 for Grundy. And I would dare say, if you watched that video, I kind of talked a lot about it then, so I won't touch on it too much. I think we're only paying about $150,000 of his salary in a year because of that pick 27. But yeah, it's sad to see him go. I loved him. I think he's an amazing person, a great player. We got within 1 point of a grand final, though, without him. And yes, you know, if he was playing, we probably would have made it to the grand final. But it kind of showed you that Cameron is probably up to the task. And not recruiting another ruck in this trade period shows that we think that Cameron is up to the task. We got Cox, who might pinch it, maybe. I don't see him playing a lot next season. Dan McStay and Aiden Begg as a developing ruckman as well. So, sad Grundy is going, but we do have those contingencies across our 44 or so players. The next guy to leave was Ollie Henry. Now, we got Ollie Henry for pick 25. It was a 3-year deal. We got pick 25 on Tom Mitchell, and we got rid of pick 41 and 50 to Hawthorn, etc., etc., etc. So now, Ollie Henry was the talk of this trade period. He wanted to go home to his brother. He wanted to go to Geelong, a bit of homesickness or whatever you want to call it. And he was uncontracted. He has every right to. Every right to go back to Geelong. Yes, it sucks that, you know, whatever Collingwood was offering him, he just didn't want to take it because he really wanted to get to Geelong. And, you know, his manager or reports were coming out and saying that even if he wasn't traded, he would bloody, you know, go to the preseason draft and take his chances there, which that sucks. And hearing that he told Craig that he wouldn't play for Collingwood again, that hurts, you know, because he's going to be a star. Don't get me wrong, he's going to be an absolute star. Couldn't crack into the team for a lot of it because there were some things that he wasn't doing right defensively and you know, the cheap one at the back. And he could have been a little bit more proactive maybe, but we don't know what's going on in the four walls. That's just what I can see from the outside looking in. That he just wasn't not gelling, just wasn't showing that other side of him. Yes, he takes a good grab. Yes, he kicks a good goal, and he got us out of the dirt a couple of times. You know, the Fremantle when he came on as the Mason Cox sub, the Hawthorn game he took it by the scruff of the neck, the St Kilda game where he burst onto the scene. A lot of games where he took the game on and helped us win games. Yes. Other side, the defensive side, maybe could work on it a little bit more, and then what we see in the VFL and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. He's got to Geelong. It's going to be hard to get into that forward line. Cameron, Rowan probably still plays. Tom Hawkins as well. And Brad Close is, you know, in midfielder, but he goes into the forward line as well. So they've got a lot of things to kind of, you know, he's going to have a hard time getting in there. But power to him. He wants to play with his brother, wants to go back home. That's that. Like I said, we got pick 25 for him. So, all in all, that's everyone that we brought in and people that we got rid of, a couple of picks that we brought in as well. Now, what do I give this trade period a grading of? I think we've made some really good acquisitions. We got rid of a couple of players. Like, yeah, getting rid of Grundy and Henry sucks, but Henry didn't want to be at the football club, so don't worry. Grundy loves the football club still. You can see that from his Instagram. But you don't want to be paying $1 million for a ruckman. He's had a couple of injuries this year. Wasn't at his best at 18, 19. He's probably going to monster the competition next season. But $1 million for a ruckman in a salary cap as it is, tight salary cap, you just can't do it. And you can't renegotiate this deal or whatever it is. And he had to leave. So, look, all in all, I think we've addressed every single need that I was kind of wanting from this trade period. Would I have liked anyone else? I don't think so, because we're pretty much set with the kind of players that we have. We've got a lot of nice players coming up. We still got Arlo Draper that we haven't seen. Reece McGuinness that we haven't really seen a lot of. Finn McRae that we haven't seen a lot of either. We got all of these players. Harvey Harrison in the forward line and stuff like this. We still got a lot of these players that we haven't really seen that are only going to keep developing. Mitchell, Hill, McStay, Frampton, those kind of, I don't want to call them stopgaps, but for lack of a better term, stopgaps, while these other players sort of develop. Hill and McStay still very young, Frampton still very young, and Mitchell is kind of telling me we're in it for the premiership. We're going to win it in the next 3 or so years. That's kind of like what the message is by recruiting a 29-year-old who's going to absolutely get in and under into that middle. So all in all, I give this maybe an 8.5 out of 10. The 1.5 lacking is because we could have maybe gotten a little bit more for Henry. I would have loved that pick 7. They were never going to give it up. I would have loved the first rounder. For Grundy as well, getting rid of him for pick 27. If that means that we're paying less of his salary than the reported $300,000, great. that makes sense. Would have loved a first rounder for him, but beggars can't be choosers. So that's why I give it an 8.5 out of 10. But anyway, guys, this has been my trade wrap-up. Let me know your thoughts down below. What did you grade this trade period out of 10? Would you have brought anyone else in? Would you have gotten rid of anyone else? Let me know your thoughts down below. But until next time, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double checkers. I'll swoop you later.